Live at 5, this is 13 News Now.
Good evening and welcome to 13 News Now at 5. I'm Janet Roach.
And I'm David Allen. A woman is shot to death in York County and a suspect is in custody. The shooting unfolded this morning in a Walmart parking lot on George Washington Memorial Highway. We're told this may have started as a fight in the store. 13
News Now reporter Jacqueline Lee is live. And Jacqueline, what are investigators telling you?
Yeah, guys, well, they're saying that it first started off as a fight inside this Walmart around 9:30 this morning. They're saying that 34-year-old Cindy Bryant walked in with a gun and confronted 37-year-old Jean Bryant. That's when they say the fight escalated. They say Cindy Bryant abducted Jean Bryant, forced her outside. And that's when a witness says that Jean Bryant started sprinting down the parking lot. And that's when police say Cindy Bryant started shooting and it escalated into murder. 34-year-old Cindy Bryant walked into Walmart this morning with a gun. The York-Poquoson sheriff said she had a plan, and Mona Burris watched it unfold.
I've never witnessed anything like that. It's terrible.
Sheriff Danny Diggs says Bryant confronted 37-year-old Jean Bryant, who was working inside Walmart's optometrist office. The two knew each other and started fighting.
They were yelling, they were arguing, they were like pulling on each other.
Amy Carter tried to break it up.
It's okay, don't worry about it. Break it up, but don't worry about it.
But sheriff's deputies said Cindy forced Jean outside at gunpoint. They're calling it abduction.
It was like pow, pow, and you could hear her running. The girl was running. I felt bad for that girl. She shot her down like a dog. I wouldn't even shoot a dog like that. That was terrible. I've never, ever seen nothing like that in my life.
And as for Cindy Bryant, she is behind bars tonight. She is facing multiple charges, including first-degree murder, abduction, and 2 gun charges. Now, coming up on 13 News Now at 6, I'll tell you how one parent was impacted by this shooting. Live in York County, Jacqueline Lee, 13 News Now.
Our weather has taken another turn, this time towards warmer conditions. Yesterday, we spent much of the day in the 50s. Today, the temperatures climbed to the 70s. And that warm air means we're in for a pretty mild night. Jeff has a look at the next few hours.
Yeah, temperatures tonight, even for the overnight low, are going to be way, way above a typical daytime high. You can see on that picture lots of sunshine out there reflecting off the buildings of downtown. Nothing at all on radar. Now, we did have a little earlier. If you were looking at your app, I'll bet you a couple of times some of you were going, wait a minute, I see rain over me. I don't see rain hitting the windshield. Although, when I was driving in, I actually did see a couple of very literally 3 or 4 raindrops hit the windshield, and that was it. So it looked more ominous on radar than it actually was because much of that evaporated before it actually came down to the Earth's surface. Right now, even after falling a few degrees, we are still 71 out there. All because of the wind out of the southwest. Well, actually, not all because of the wind, a combination of the sunshine and the wind. And it's going to be gusting at times tonight, we think up near 30 miles per hour. So in terms of the next 6 hours, dropping those readings again back, but not significantly. Our normal high is in the low 50s. And we're going to be in the mid-60s still even at midnight. So that is a definite distinct change over normal. As for some other areas, well, this is by morning. You can see only down into the 60s. So again, really warm to start your day tomorrow. Not as warm as we get into the end of the work week, but we will be talking about some showers. That's all coming up as well.
It was a united front today in Hampton Roads as officials from all the cities came together to discuss potential offshore drilling.
Live look at the ocean front right there, a few miles from the area where drilling could be considered. But together, the region's cities said no. 13 News Now reporter Allie Weatherton was at the meeting. She joins us now live to explain.
Well, David, you are exactly right. All of those members spoke up saying absolutely not to offshore drilling. Now, I want you to look behind me. You can see there's some tourists behind me, and it's such a beautiful day. They're out here relaxing, riding their bikes, just hanging out. And those leaders say if the offshore drilling came here to Virginia, those tourists would go somewhere else. Inside a packed room, leaders from all over Hampton Roads said no to offshore drilling.
There's too many downsides and no upside at this time.
Their reasoning, it could affect tourism, our beaches, and especially the military.
We don't want anything that's going to harm our protection, our ports, our defense, So it's a no-brainer that it's just not the right thing for Hampton Roads area.
Offshore drilling has been a talker for years, but recently the Trump administration announced a plan to lift the ban on drilling in the water off several states, including Virginia and North Carolina. According to ABC News, Florida is exempt from the offshore drilling.
We're trying to get the same exemption that Florida seemingly has gotten to have no drilling off the shore here.
And business owners hope that happens. They say offshore drilling would have a major impact on them.
Would put us out of business is what would happen.
And leaders hope the state of Virginia is exempt from drilling.
It's a negative impact on our Hampton Roads economy, and we cannot afford this. We cannot take the risk and the protection of our people.
Now the committee will write a letter as Hampton Roads as a whole stating they do not want this offshore drilling. They will send that to federal officials. Live in the oceanfront, Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.
And this is the latest pushback against drilling in our region. Virginia Governor Ralph Northam and North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper have both asked the federal government for exemptions to offshore drilling for the Commonwealth and the Tar Heel State. Virginia Senators Mark Warner and Tim Kaine have also asked for Virginia to be left out of plans for drilling. Individual towns and cities have also raised their objections, and that includes Virginia Beach, Kill Devil Hills, and Southern Shores. They all recently passed resolutions trying to block offshore drilling, citing worries about the impact on tourism.
New details keep unfolding in the Florida school shooting. Today, a judge ordered no bond for the suspect accused of killing 17 people and injuring more than a dozen others. Nicholas Cruz is charged with 17 counts of murder after the attack at a South Florida high school. Today, the leader of a white supremacist group claimed Cruz was a member and had practice with a militia. That leader also said his group does not endorse Cruz's attack. Meanwhile, the community had a vigil for the victims.
I mean, as a parent, you know, it's just unexpected. I mean, you know, you see what's going on in the country, and I guess you never expect it's going to land in your backyard.
In a national address from the White House, President Donald Trump said he wanted America's children to know you are never alone and you never will be. And lawmakers continue to react to the tragedy. Congressman Bobby Scott released a statement today calling for gun control. It says, in part, once again, our hearts go out to families and a community devastated by the epidemic of gun violence. While sending thoughts and prayers is important, they are useless without meaningful action.
The shock from the Florida shooting also caused extra concern when rumors of a threat in Hampton started circulating. But the police say there's nothing to worry about. The police division posted a message on social media. They say a threat against Hampton High School was not credible, but they did search the school and investigate to make sure students were safe. We're exposing controversy out of Washington, this time not with sitting lawmakers, but retired ones. 13 News Now is investigating former Congress members and candidates who are spending campaign contributions on personal expenses long after they've left office. 13 News Now investigative reporter Laura Geller teamed up with reporters at other Tegna affiliates and the Tampa Bay Times to look into these zombie campaigns. Laura.
Well, it is a loophole in the law allowing ex-elected officials to keep open their campaign finance funds even if they never run for office again. Our team found campaign committees sitting on tens of millions of dollars with virtually no oversight on how it gets spent. It's one of the fundamental principles of U.S. campaign finance laws. Political donations should be spent on, well, politics, not personal lives. But our investigation found former lawmakers spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on questionable items. We're talking about tickets to sporting events, cell phone bills, vacations, and social club memberships. Expenses which likely have little to do with political careers, especially since the 100 lawmakers on our list are no longer running for office.
There's just no legitimate explanation for that, and it's just outrageous. I mean, it is the kind of abuse that people only perpetrate when they're sure that nobody's watching.
Tonight at 6, we'll bring you examples of that spending for lawmakers right here in Virginia. And we'll also explain why former Congress members and federal candidates are able to get away with this. Laura Geller, 13 News Now.